It's Cardboard Time, episode number 188, and this is your Origins Drive Home podcast. I am your host, Arwen Kathke, here with you with my lovely wife, my better half.
Hello.
Allie.
I've got the chips.
As is tradition. We are just leaving Sheets. We kind of got out of the convention area and wanted to do our setup. It's a little bit difficult to do everything downtown while trying to get out of everybody else's way. So, yeah, we are on the road again after what I would consider very successful Origins 2026, and had a good time. This was a good convention for me personally. There were some people who weren't so pleased with the convention, but I was not one of them. What did you think, Allie, overall general overview?
It seemed pretty chill. The hall didn't seem overly crowded, for better for worse, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Lots of time playing games.
And I think that's what the theme of the weekend was going to be, just kind of playing games and being a little bit more relaxed than normal and not having to worry about doing so many meetings, which was nice. I will warn everybody that the vibration might be back until we get up to 70 miles an hour, and then we'll be good. Maybe I'll speed a little, just to make sure that doesn't come back.
It only ever happens at the worst possible times. It goes away for the longest time, and then driving to a convention, it comes back.
Yep. Literally, I can make a commute, and it's absolutely fine. So we're going to start off Cowabunga Allies.
Cowabunga Allies.
Yeah. That'll come into play later. That's a secret for you that we will explain later. But yeah, good time. We drove down to Columbus on Wednesday and basically immediately went to go get lunch. We were supposed to get lunch with Jillian, who works at Brotherwise, and Chris High, but Jillian unfortunately had an emergency and couldn't join us. But Chris brought his friend John, who was a delight to also have lunch with, so that was great. We went to Wario's Beef and Pork, which is a place that I had never been before, and definitely glad that we did. It was awesome. Allie, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. I had basically some potatoes with a poop ton of garlic and meat.
It was so much garlic. The garlic was roasted and really good.
It was so good.
But it was a lot of garlic. They do their own house cheese sauce and everything. Their cheesesteaks were very good. That's what I had. And I don't know if this guy wants to get over, but he should put on his turn signal. If that's the case. That's how that should go. Yeah, we did that, and I think after that we came back to the room, didn't we?
Yes. Do you want to share the saga of how we lucked into the room we have?
Oh, so we wound up at the Hyatt this year, which was the first time that I've ever stayed at the Hyatt for Origins anyways. I believe I might have spent a night there for a different convention, but basically what happened was there was a room snafu. I thought I was going to have a room, and unfortunately we didn't, but in the search and desperation for looking for a room, we wound up going and just booking a room at the Hilton, and then we said, okay, we'll try to find something else in the meantime. And we were active on the Facebook group and looking and seeing if anybody had freed anything up or was given one of their rooms away. And fortunately, somebody decided to get rid of their 3 reservations. I went on the portal on a whim just to see if that was something that I could get. And we wound up in the VIP suite at the Hyatt and paying less than we would at the Hilton. So overall, that worked really well. I'm very spoiled now for a hotel room. At this point, it had a couch, it had a table, and the table was long enough that six chairs were there. I think you could have probably fit 8.
Definitely an 8-person gaming table. It was great. And a very large couch, like a sectional with a fold-out.
Yep.
A separate bedroom, 2 bathrooms, kitchen.
Yeah.
And it had a toaster.
Which came in very handy a little bit later on, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah, we came back to the room to play a few games with Chris and John. The first one of which was Dice.
Dice, Cat, and Fish.
Dice, Cat. That was a really fun dice rolling and betting game, and I believe that was out of Taiwan, I want to say.
Korea? Nope, maybe Taiwan.
And Chris has a lot of import games that he was showing us, which is great because a lot of times we don't get to see those in the States. And finding those gems that we don't necessarily get to see over here is really cool. I'm glad that somebody's paying attention. I know that Chris went over to the Tokyo Game Show.
I think so.
And had a good time and brought back a bunch of stuff. And Dice, Cat, and Fish was a betting game that basically you had these cards that you were going to bet dice and commit your dice lure a little bit, if I remember lure correctly, where you're going to commit either one die or multiple dice to getting one of the cards that was available for that round. And you had 2 D4s, a D6, a D12, and a D20, I believe. And you would roll whatever you committed. Obviously, for later in the round, you wouldn't be able to use those again. And you were trying to build up fish, and if you built up a very long fish, it would be a bunch of points because the head was worth a certain amount, the tail was worth a certain amount, and then the body, you would add up all the segments, multiply that by the head value and the tail value, and that would be basically your score for that fish. There were different bonus points that you could get. There was also an octopus card, which you had to attach things to and complete, which wrecked a few people's plans, or you could complete it for one of the bonus cards. So we had a great time with this one. Very luck-based. If you are kind of risk-averse and like something that doesn't have a huge amount of luck to it, this one might be one to avoid, but we really enjoyed it. I wound up playing it a couple of times over the weekend. And then what was the next one, Allie?
I wanted to confirm that they are from Taiwan. The company was Magi.
Magi.
Yes. We also played Looney Clues from Pink Troubadour.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a game that basically what would happen is you would get assigned a secret role, and then players would go and draw cards, and you would say, are you this or not? So it would give clues as the identity that you had. There were 12 different cards that were out on the board, and there were 4 of us playing, so there were 8 roles that weren't used. And you would basically say yes or no. That would go under your yes or no slots, and then players would try to deduce which one of those objects or items that you were. And so, for instance, if you were an ice cube and somebody said cold, that would be a yes. If somebody said, are you a gas, then that would be a no. That was a fun little party game. I had fun with that one as well.
I enjoyed that one a lot. I hope that we could pick that one up if it comes available. After that, we parted ways, and then Mur got in. That's our roommate. And you both went
where the food court was, I think it's Nelson's. That's speaking of Nelson's, we didn't see Nelson at all. He must not have.
That's crazy.
Made it.
We see Nelson
every convention.
Even when you're not looking for Nelson.
We'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah, see if he was there.
So, yeah, just wanted to give Mur a lay of the land. Picked up a couple of things. We needed hand soap and we didn't bring it with us. We like a good liquid hand soap in our room.
Yeah, no bar soap for the hands.
No. That is a big travel tip, by the way. If you are going to a convention, one of the things that makes your life a little bit more luxurious and feel a little bit better is by having some liquid hand soap. You don't even have to have anything super expensive. Normally we just buy something that's $1 or $2, and unfortunately we didn't do that before we wound up heading out to Origins. We had to buy some relatively expensive hand soap. But yeah, so we showed Mur around, and then I think, was that when I went to play Pilgrims?
No. When you were both downstairs, Scott and Jen came by the room with with the traditional bagel offering.
Yes. Scott and Jen offered us bagels, and
homemade bagels.
It's a wonderful treat. I know the one was cranberry and pistachio, and then the other one was poppy seed
and blueberry.
And they were both delicious. And that's where having the toaster came in handy, because we brought butter for your bread.
Yes, I have been on a sourdough kick, and we didn't want our bread to go bad, so we just brought it with us because we knew we'd have a kitchen. Didn't know we'd have a toaster. That's a new one for a hotel room. But yeah.
That was like the best thing ever. I could have a toasted bagel in the morning and sit and drink my coffee. It was wonderful. And it was nice to sit with them and chat for a few minutes before they had to go to registration.
Then you played Pilgrim with Chris and Tabletop Bellhop.
Yeah. So it was very nice getting to play Pilgrims with the Tabletop Bellhop crew. Very nice folks out of Canada, and I think it was the Windsor area. Pilgrims was a lot of fun, and this is a game that I'll be talking about a little bit more. It was one of the review copies I did pick up that, thanks to Chris, I was able to take a look at. It is something that I think Allie is going to like, but basically there's a set collection and order fulfillment aspect to that, where you're trying to move your piece in order to collect resources, and then there's some ways that you can potentially collect more, and then you're going to get these followers that you'll be able to stop on. So instead of getting a resource for that round, you'll also be able to stop on these kind of followers, which give you the ability to spend your resources to make an extra move and get a different resource. So it opens up your ability to get the resources that you want. Once you fulfill an order, it does give you some points, and it also may give you a permanent bonus, whether that's to the end game or some sort of power that's going to make your life easier when you're doing a particular action. And then there's some additional scoring goals in between, which were really cool. Didn't have as much engine building in it as I either thought that I might see. I do a really good engine builder, but I think for especially somebody who's a little bit of a lighter gamer, this is going to be a really nice way to get them into some engine building without feeling the need to make 30 long combos. It's just a nice little light game. The art on it is gorgeous. From what I understand, it is based on a video game, which I'm going to take a look at when I get home and see if I can go and play that as well.
Yeah, I actually saw Chris post about it before Origins. Know nothing about the game at all at that point, but the art is what caught my eye, so I wanted to make sure Arwen got to see it, so then I could see it. But then I was taking a nap during all of this, but then you came back and we went to the All Play event.
Yeah, and the All Play event was a lot of fun. I was over at the Sinesta, which was right across the street from the Hyatt, so that made it nice and convenient. Walked across the Sky Bridge. Unfortunately, it was raining, but what can you do? And we were able to sit down. We got to 2 out of the 3 games that they were featuring. They do have an upcoming Kickstarter that's coming
July 7th.
July 7th. Some interesting games that they're coming out with. We didn't get to try Imps, which unfortunately was just the kind of case we weren't able to work our way into one of the tables, but that's a Mancala mechanism.
Yeah, what I saw about it so far is that there's like a movement style that's similar to Mancala, and there's obviously much more to it than that, but that is what I heard.
Okay. So the first game that we tried was Wild Berries, and this was a game by Marceline Lyman, who is a good friend, and shout out to Marceline, Cowabunga Allies once again. And in this game, you are going to be drawing marbles out of a tray, and you can either draw 1 or 2 out of the column, and then the marbles are going to slide down.
They're berries.
They are.
It's real.
Okay, I need to be a little bit.
Wild berry cereal.
I need to be a little bit more cognizant of the mechanics and the theme, apparently.
The theme is important.
Yes. The theme actually does fit very well. We like the art on that, too. Seeing the different cereal-related things that were coming up as well. So, yeah, basically, you're going to be drawing 1 or 2 berries out of a column, and everything else is going to slide down. That doesn't refill right away. And once you draw those, you put those into your cereal bowl, and they're all going to be happy and floating around in there. And when you empty out 2 columns, that's when those columns in particular refill. You're going to go through 4 refills, and then you're going to get to the end of the game. So you're probably wondering, how do you get points? Those points come from different set collection mechanisms. So there's some things that the first person to complete a certain pattern of berries, or basically get a certain quantity of berries, of different types in their bowl, will get that card, and they'll be the only ones to score that. And then there's also the community end goals, which are just at the end of the game. If you have these pairs of berries, they're worth X. One of the things that I had was one of the berries times another one of the berries was a scoring condition. There's a little bit of set collection avoidance as well. One of the berries you didn't want to get at all.
The sour ones.
The sour ones, yep. And it was just a really fun, very quick game. This was one of the highlights of the show for me, and being able to see this. I was not expecting this game to resonate with me so well. I love games that are quick, easy to teach, and approachable for new players. And I think Wild Berries is going to fit into that very well. And really cute, too. And there were some different scoring conditions that you can swap out, which was very nice. This was originally a game that Marceline had proposed called Pass the Peas, I believe.
Yes.
And
Last Origins, actually, I remember seeing it.
Yeah. Yep. Ellie,
full circle.
Ellie didn't get to play it, I don't think, but
no, I
you
just
got to
saw
see
it.
And I remember Marceline saying that she was going to try to shop it to All Play, and glad that they picked that one up, because that's going to be one that I'm very excited about. I know that I'll be backing as well. Even though I do get some review copies from All Play, I do want to support Marceline as well. So if that sounds like something that's your jam, definitely check out that Kickstarter. The other thing that we got to see was Kabuto Sumo Dice, and this was like an elevated version of Strike, if you're familiar with that, where you have a central arena and you're going to be throwing dice into it and potentially making patterns. If you get 3 of a kind on your roll, and that includes the dice that are in the arena previously, you will get to take those dice. Now, you get knocked out in a couple of different ways. The first one is if you ever run out of dice. So you do want to get some of your dice back. So making those 3 of a kinds on your turn is a really good thing. So if you target some of those dice that don't have your number on it and you're 1 away, that's a way of getting some dice back. The second way that you can be eliminated is your player piece gets knocked out of the arena completely. So if somebody gets a roll and it blasts your piece out of the arena, then you are out and you're done. The third way is that everybody has I think it was like a submission or something card in front of them because it's wrestling themed. And if there is ever a certain pattern that is in the arena, you will be knocked out instantly. If you get flipped over, your player piece gets flipped over, it is easier to get that combination because one of the dice that's required is negated. So it was a fun game. I liked regular Kabuto Sumo better. I like regular Strike for its simplicity, so I don't know if I necessarily need the elevated version of it. But as far as the Kickstarter goes, I definitely want to get Wild Berries. That's going to be a really cool game.
I would like to see a little bit more about Imp.
Yeah.
To see what that's all about, because I do, I love Mancala. I played that a lot as a kid.
I could see myself getting that. We should check out that Wonderland's war themed, or the Alice in Wonderland Mancala game that's
I didn't
out.
know that was a thing.
Yep, Mancala. I didn't know that you played Mancala a lot as a kid.
I did.
Oh. We have some games that we need to try then. She set herself up, folks. The pizza at the party was really good too.
Yeah, it was just the pizza that the hotel restaurant served.
Yeah.
But
still good nonetheless.
Yeah, very good, and as always, very generous of all play.
Yep. And we also got to see quite a few friends and catch up at the event as well.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Then we went to the media event, right?
Media Retailer and Media First Look, I believe is what it was called.
Yep.
Do you want me to rattle off some games that we played and you can talk about them?
Sure, let's do it.
Size-wise, with Scott Brady.
Yeah, so that was a game where you had a piece of string. You'd have a ball on one end, and then, or it wasn't a ball on one end, it was
like a ring?
Like a ring. And then you would have the ball that basically slid on the rope. And your job, once you got to know what object you were targeting, was to slide the ball on the rope to match the size of the object that you thought it was. So, for instance, if you had a saber come up, you would go and slide that ball away from the ring to get that accurate size. And this was a giant version of it. It wasn't the box, the standard box version.
So the normal version will not have such large items. It will have smaller items that are within the length of the string that's provided.
Yep. And it was fun. I thought it was fine. For a silly little party game. Yep. I think it's a neat little game.
Yeah. Wobby Blobby.
Wobby Blobby is such a cool concept. I do want to have the creator on the show. She has done a really cool job of making a game. We actually met her at Gamma. I think it was the night of the DEI mixer, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
We all sat around the table and she was explaining what her game was, and then we got to see it, and we were very excited about it. It is a game that you have a bunch of watercolor, just random shapes, and your job is to draw what, for instance, you might see one of them, I think we saw a duck. I saw a femur in one of them because I'm weird, but yeah, you just use the watercolor droplets as an outline and then outline that for the shape that you see. which was cool.
Yep, and then you pass it to the next person who then continues with that process.
Yep. And the really cool thing is that you can, when you're done, use that as a postcard that you can send to somebody else. So it's a really neat little game. There's also prompts that if you're sitting around a table playing it, you can give these little awards that it's, hey, this is, maybe we should take you to HR kind of thing, or giving a little bit more flavor to the game as well. I think it's a very chill, very cozy experience. There's also a dry erase version that's going to be coming out.
Yes, later this year, I believe it was like October, November, a dry erase version, which I said is great for the people who get fancy notebooks and can't draw in them because they don't want to waste it.
Yep.
Because it is really beautiful, and once you draw on the postcard, that's done.
That's your postcard.
Yep.
That's done.
I don't want to say Arwen can't draw, but
Arwen can't draw.
I will be buying the dry erase version for when I play with Arwen.
Yeah. No, I'll say it. Arwen can't draw.
Arwen can't draw.
Yeah.
Then we went to DVC.
Yeah.
We really wanted Corvids. We chatted Jasper.
So Jasper is the pseudonym for the designer on all the games. But there's no actual Jasper
That's right.
that exists there.
That's right. They did tell us that. But yeah, we talked about all the games, and we got a sneak peek at Photo Club, which we weren't allowed. I don't think we were allowed to take pictures.
We couldn't take a picture of it, but suffice to say, it was really, really cool.
Oh, it looks so cool. It's coming out at PAX, so if we get some more information on that, we'll definitely share it, because I instantly want to buy that. And we did end up playing Corvids later in the weekend, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then.
Then we wandered over to Pink Hawk.
Yeah, I got to see Emily and Sabrina, who were kind of sharing the same table. Or they were next to each other.
No, they were not
They
at
were
the
next
same
to
table.
each other.
Yeah.
They were just at adjoining booths this weekend.
Yeah, the hall, they had adjoining booths.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got to see Super Chunk.
Super Chunk and Good Kitties coming to Kickstarter.
Yeah, those both are coming to Kickstarter. Good Kitties is a cooperative game where you're trying to do a bunch of tasks and don't get caught doing the bad stuff, and you can blame the dog for that because you're good kitties. The good kitties would never do anything.
She said they were trying to be social media stars or
that's
content creators or something.
Yeah.
And it is the more, I don't want to say complicated of the two, but the heavier of the two games.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cute concept.
Good Chunk, you're just trying to get a bunch of food and put it in your belly.
Yes. Then we went over to the Ludo Liminal booth, and Dino's just a really cute game. But there's an expansion.
Yep.
With more cute things. Sabrina told us a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we wandered over to Van Ryder because there is a game called Enemies and Lovers that I backed on Kickstarter before Van Ryder picked it up. It is based on the Cruel Prince books and some Arwen and Allie lore. My Wedding Bouquet was made from pages of those books. That series holds a special place in my heart. So when a game came out, I instantly backed it. Then Van Ryder picked it up, and of course there's some like special flavor in there, so I gotta buy that version too. But we looked at that, compared the two versions, and then we also looked at Garden Guests, which is not a new game, apparently.
Yeah, so that was one that they were demoing, and basically there's times in the board game industry that games just slip under the radar. They either just don't get enough love, or for whatever reason they don't get the coverage that they really need or deserve. And I think that was one of the cases with Garden Guests. Mo, who runs Ashify Games, was over and was playing that with one of the Van Ryder folks, and it looked really cool, and it was so cool looking that I bought it the next day because Mo was very adamant about the game being incredibly good. Apparently it's a very mean game.
You wouldn't know by looking at it. I really just thought
No.
it was like a flower tile placement game that was just pretty.
Yeah, basically trying to connect end of the board to another using your tiles. The really cool thing about it was you had 2 cards. One had a 1 and a 4 on the front and back side. The other one had a 2 and a 3. And you got to choose one of those 2 cards, look at the top of it, and put out that many tiles. But the thing was that when you did that, you had to flip the card. So if you put out 1 tile, then you got to see the 4 side for your next turn. But you knew that if you used the 4 tile ability on that card, then it would flip back to 1. So it was a very interesting mechanic with that. I really like that. And then I'm sure that there's a little bit more strategy to it than that, but I think a lot of it was in the cards that you played as well.
And then we checked in at Chris Couch Games before we left. We backed Headliner.
We also backed Garden Club.
All of the games.
Pedals.
All their games.
Yeah.
Get them all. They're all great. Actually, speaking of, did you just see on Instagram that they just signed a game with Danielle Reynolds?
No.
I just happened to cross it. I don't know anything about it, but Danielle posted it.
She's doing everything with everyone lately.
Yep. Busy lady.
Get your bag, girl.
Yep. But that was the end of that. And we went back to the room, relaxed a little bit, and then Marceline came to visit.
Yeah, so it was really cool getting to hang out with Marceline for a little while. And we just sat and chatted.
We talked about games instead of playing them.
Yes. We literally had basically shelf filled with games, piled high, much like Arby's roast beef. And it just, those of you who have been to conventions know, you just kind of sit and chat and don't really play games. That's one of the things that you just do at conventions. It's looking, Taco John's may not be there anymore. I don't know.
You can't say that. There's no way.
Wait a minute. No. Maybe it was just not on this sign. We're passing on I-71. We are passing the Lexington Belleville exit 165. And yeah, it was just on a different sign.
Good. Because Taco John's has something delicious called potato olays. And if we hadn't already eaten, it would be a must stop for us. But
I know. If we hadn't already eaten and needed to rush back and get our sweet boy. But yeah, Marceline just hung out and we sat and chatted for a long time and talked about games, but it was good. It's always good.
Yeah. Well, that was the end of Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, we ate our bagels.
Welcome to Thursday. I will reiterate how lovely it was to wake up, go toast a bagel, have a Keurig K-cup of coffee, and sit at a table and eat, as opposed to having to run to North Market or having to run downstairs or having the ability to have a nice toasted bakery item was absolutely fantastic.
Speaking of bakery items, I didn't mention that we went to Bell's Bread on the way in. If anyone's in Columbus, you gotta go to Bell's Bread and get an almond croissant.
Those things are good.
They are truly the best. But Arwen went on an early jaunt in the hall. Do you want me to list your purchases?
Yeah.
Corvids.
Yeah, I think that was the second thing that I did. So I picked up Corvids.
Oh, I didn't put these in order. I just made a list.
Gotcha.
Green Team wins again. Sprocket Forge, Garden Guests, which we just talked about.
Yep.
Vanity Plates.
Yep.
And Of Popes and Plagues.
Yeah, so let's see. So 25th Century Games did Green Team Wins again, which is a favorite. It's a perennial favorite in our house. It's something that we will go to for a large player count, and Green Team Wins again introduces more player sheets, so now we can have 24, I think, people playing this game at once.
Really? I had no idea.
And then more prompt cards as well. So not that we necessarily needed them, but it is fun to be able to host a bigger session of that. And that pretty much covers most gatherings that we would have. We're not going to get married again, so we should have a party like we are.
You don't want to marry me again?
I'll marry you again. That's fine. But yeah, so that's a great party game. And then Vanity Plates was another party game that I had heard some buzz about. So I decided to pick that one up. It looked a lot of fun, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And then Corvette, like Allie said, that was a game that I had looked at PAX and thought I'd really like this, but I'm out of room. Like we're all tapped out here for games, and that was one of the things that I very much wanted to go and get. So I got that right away because there were only a certain amount of copies after talking with DVs. They are games collected out of Syracuse, New York, I believe. And great little small box games if you ever are in the market for those. They have some really fun ones and really well thought out ones as well. So pick that up. Sprocket Forge, I've had my eye on forever, dating back till 2024, I want to say, when I first got to take a little look at it at their booth. I didn't get in on the Kickstarter when they ran it, and decided that this was the time to go and pick it up. And then I think that was it.
How'd you end up with Of Popes and Plagues?
So of Popes and Plagues, Chris High and I were walking around the hall, and Chris was looking for some things to help some friends stock Game Store, and that was one that we had just walked by the booth, and he got chatting, and then Chris said, oh yeah, by the way, Arwen has a channel, and the booth basically said, yeah, go take a review copy and see what you think. So the art on it was really interesting. It caught my eye. I don't know about the gameplay or the theme. We'll see what the integration is and how well that goes, but yeah, we'll definitely give that one a try and check that out.
Then we met Scott and Jen again for lunch at El Vaquero.
Yep.
I took many years of Spanish.
See?
Apologies.
Yeah, El Vaquero was quite good. I had a very nice time there. It is very close to the northern side of the convention center, and very welcoming. There were all sorts of Pride decorations that was up.
It was Pride weekend. Cowabunga
allies. And it was really cool to see that and know that we were welcome. The food was great. They had very good horchata. I definitely enjoyed my food, and it was also a nice place to go and sit without being too far off the beaten path. I wish this guy would stay in his lane with his giant-ass truck and boat. That would be fantastic, if you would please. And it was so nice being able to go and catch up with them. I want to say that both of them are off of socials right now, with the state of the world being what it is. It was nice being able to catch up with them again and see how they were doing. Their daughter graduated from college, which was great to hear, and got to catch up with her a little bit as well while we were setting this up. Yeah, fantastic folks, and a big shout out to them if they're listening.
After that, you met up with Chris again.
Yeah, Chris and I met up again, went down to the hall and played a couple of games. I want to say the first one was Dice Cat and Fish again.
Trip to the Future?
Oh, it was Trip to the Future, or Trick to the Future.
Oh, Trick to
Yep.
the Future.
That was a wild game by game head, and you have 3 suits of cards. You have past, present, and future. The lead card is the suit that's going to win, and then the value of the card is printed on there, so you'll have a 0 through 9. But the way it's printed is a digital digit, essentially. You have the lines that make everything up. So if you think about how a 7 is made on a digital clock, one of the old school ones that have the individual sections that light up. So you could use the card as what it was. So you could take a 7 and have it be a 7, but you did get these little sticks that you were able to put on the empty spaces to change the number. So you could make a 7 into a 9, you could make a 0 into an 8, you could make all sorts of combinations if you wanted to spend the sticks to do it, essentially. And the scoring condition was based off of how many tricks you got, and if you had sticks that were left over in your inventory and you had an amount of tricks that were over that, then you would score a certain amount of points. Really what you wanted to do was have the same number of sticks left in your inventory and the same number of tricks. That was the sweet spot. And it was a fun game. I don't see myself picking it up because I don't know of too many other people that would really like it, but it was a neat concept. I thought it was very different. Just one that might not be for me, and one that I want to pick up.
Then you did play Dice Cat and Fish again. You also played Ghost. That's also by Magic.
Yeah. So Ghost was a betting game that you had a certain amount of tokens. You would place those tokens in front of a line of different cards that you could pick up, and those cards would have different icons that were printed on them. The cost of the card was essentially the amount of bids that were in front of it. So you would put your tokens down and say, I put mine in front of one column of cards, and then Chris went and put his on another column, and then I went and put one on the one that Chris just did. I would have to roll a 2 because there were 2 tokens in the column, and then the more kind of valuable cards, potentially going to make you have to roll even more. They would reduce the amount that you would have on your dice, or basically make you roll more to get more cards into your inventory. And then the scoring at the end was based off of the product of the 3 different types of icons that were available. And then there was also a little bonus for the king cards. So some of the ghosts were king ghosts, and if you had the most of those at the end, you would get a 20-point bonus. That was a lot of fun. That one I could see myself picking up, another small box game, and I think once I got the concept of it down, I was pretty enthralled with that.
Do you want to tell the listeners what Nicole Brady purchased?
Yeah, so Nicole Brady purchased, and I don't think was originally going to purchase, but she purchased...
Was bullied into purchasing.
She was essentially goaded into purchasing Mountain Dew donuts. I think she saw them at a Quick Trip and posted online that there were Mountain Dew donuts. I think that was like on the Monday before the convention, and she said, oh my god, I saw these. And then so many people posted, you need to go get those, and I would love to try those. that she wound up going and getting a box of them, cutting them into quarters, and that quarter is all that I needed. I proceeded to, have her and Scott Brady watch my face as I digested this donut and went through the different experiences and stages of processing the flavor profile that was in this donut and that. But no, thanks to Nicole for bringing those. That was quite a flavor treat. Apparently somebody told her that because they were a little bit older and not, what would happen if you drank Mountain Dew and used that as a dunking mechanism. And I'm like, that sounds like a really bad idea.
Then you wandered over to Arcane Wonders, found Kim and Jim and Bree.
Yeah, we got to hang out for a little bit and chat and just catch up. It was great catching up with Kim and Jim. Haven't seen them in a while, so it was very nice being able to see them. I wish I was able to see them a little bit more during the weekend, and I think we need to head down to Columbus for maybe an overnight or something, just to do the activity that we're going to talk about next and play some board games with them.
You know what comes next?
Yeah, I know what comes next, baby.
Boodle nights!
Boodle night. Yeah, so we got to go and have Boodle at Bonifacio, which is a Filipino restaurant. This is a trend that's happening a little bit more at conventions that we're doing, where we have more of a family-style dinner of some sort. Amanda has a group at PAX that we go get Peking duck after the convention and kind of eat family-style. Boodle is a family-style Filipino traditional meal, which you eat off of banana leaves and you use your hands to eat everything. And it was great. We had some fantastic folks with us.
It was Marceline, Mur, Chris, Charlotte and Patrick, Bree, me, and you.
So yeah, it was a really good turnout for that. We would have loved for some other folks to be able to join us. Some of the other folks were either indisposed with a staff dinner that they had to go to, or weren't at this convention. We'd love to expand that. This is our first year doing that after we discovered Boodle this past year. And we would absolutely love to invite more folks. The food was so delicious. We ate a bunch of lumpia.
Yeah.
There's always room for more lumpia. This was the origination for the phrase Cowabunga Allies, which Marceline coined, I believe.
Someone at the table coined it, I don't know.
Yeah. And that will also come into play later. But yeah, that was basically the genesis of that. Everything was basically delicious. Our servers were also fantastic. So a big shout out to the folks at Bonifacio for hosting us. A lovely dinner with some lovely people and delicious food. If you're ever in the Columbus area just on your own, just go to Bonifacio. You can order most nights dishes that are just served on regular plate, but Boodle Night's something special.
Then we went back to the room. Not all of us, but we played Corvids and Devious from Smirk and Dagger.
Yeah, so Corvids was a very interesting game, and again, it was nice to be able to pick it up and finally play it. A little set collection game where on your turn what you would do is grab a card and flip it, so that could flip some other cards that were out there. Some of the cards were dual-sided, some of the cards were single-sided, and each one had either different point scoring abilities or different conditions that happened, because you would take one of the cards that was available and not being covered by anything. So if you think about corvids and crows, they're using their beaks to go and grab things, and in this you have some tweezers to go and grab things out of the center, which was really neat. I thought it was a fun little game. I really had a lot of fun with it. Maybe open to a few rules interpretations as far as what's being covered, what's not. But those were very few and far between, I think. How'd you like it, Allie?
I liked it a lot. I remember when it first came out, it just immediately looked like something that was fun. And they told us that it really marketed itself. They didn't really need media coverage for that specific game, and they were right. Mer played that one with us. And then we also played Devious.
Yeah, and Devious was a game by Smirk and Dagger, which I was sent as part of a package. If you remember on the last episode, I talked about a little care package that Smirk and Dagger had sent over with 3 games. We're going to talk about all 3 because I got all 3 played this weekend. So I'm very proud of myself for getting those done because now I can talk about them. I will be doing a more in-depth review of this. I would like to play more of it, but my initial impressions of this game, the first thing that you're basically doing is a set avoidance. You really want 1 card of each set, or you can potentially get a whole bunch of cards in that set, and if you do that, you get a bunch of points as well. But you don't want 2 or 3 or 4 of those cards because those will start giving you either 0 or negative points for a suit of cards. And there's also a I stack you choose element to that where your opponents are going to draw 3 cards. They're going to order them in the order that they best think can trick you into taking a card that might be to your disadvantage. Basically like Honey Pot, same mechanics that I had talked about earlier this year, but a very different feel. The artwork is a lot darker, like dark kind of fairies. I thought the artwork was absolutely gorgeous on it, but a lot of very mean take that kind of elements that didn't necessarily feel super direct, but were well implemented. I thought that they were pretty well done. What do you think of it, Allie?
I enjoyed it, and yeah, if take that really isn't your thing, that might not be for you, but I enjoyed it. It didn't seem too mean. By this point, though, we were super tired, so it would be nice to play it again fully awake.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did immediately go to bed after that.
And now we have the basics down, so we could do a pretty easy teach with folks. It's pretty easy to get once you know what's going on.
Yeah. The next morning, Friday, we got to the hall early, and I wanted to pick up Wobby Bloppy. By this point, the deluxe edition was already almost sold out, so I went ahead and ordered it off their website, got free shipping. That way they would just ship it to the house, and then they still had some stock left at the show. Arwen picked up Flamecraft Duels, which has that cute little box. You and Mer went to the media meetup thing in the observation area?
Yeah, so we went up, and this was a Gamma Media member event. So it was a little meetup that we did, and it was a tour of the skyboxes that overlook the convention center, which we were able to grab some video and take a look at the convention center floor. This is a view that a lot of people don't get, and they really don't get to see the convention floor from up top, so it's always a neat little treat to be able to look down and get a bird's eye view of the convention floor and see what's going on from up above and get a lay of the land. It's really something special every time that I get to do it.
During that time, I was left unattended and spent a whole bunch of money. Bought some fancy dice, as I do. Bought some tea. I was doing a scavenger hunt, so I was going around to different booths, and I was buying stuff from those booths. Then I started to not feel so hot. We went and got lunch at North Market with Mer and Bree. I got crepes.
You did get crepes.
Then we all went back to the room and played games. Eventually we got Thai food. Conrad joined us, and we played. Varying degrees of people played different things. Layers, Boop Shuffle, Flamecraft Duels, Shards of Creation, Soothsay. If you have things to say about those.
Yeah, so let's start with layers. And by the way, this was amazing to be able to coincide with Bree having some time to be able to spend and hang out. She got a break at the booth and didn't know that she was going to get a break. So I think those are the things that you take the opportunity to do what you can. And I was planning on wandering the show floor a little bit more, but I had seen quite a bit of it already and just said, you know what, why not? Let's just go back and we'll play some games and hang out. So Layers is a game that came in. I had been hyping it up for a long time, but actually hadn't been able to get my copy of it to the table because life gets in the way and whatever, and setting it up and playing it 2 players just wasn't happening at home. So we did get that out to the table. I had a great time with it. It is just as good as, I was just as enchanted with it as I was when I first played it. It's a fantastic little game, and I did get to open the first box because I have the deluxe edition. There's a little bit of discussion about the retail version maybe being a little bit light in content, but there are boxes that you can buy, like a box 0, and get some of this content as well to change the flavor up a little bit on Layers. But I did get the deluxe box. I opened up box 1. I'm very excited for where this is heading and getting to see the different content that's added, get to experience the different things that are coming up. There will be plenty more Layers in my future. I would highly recommend checking that out if you haven't already. It's by Kids Table Board Games, and basically Dungeon Crawl Battleship is my best way to describe it. So that was really good. Boop Shuffle, basically Boop with cards, but you're able to potentially draw your opponent's cards. So not only are you worrying about where your stuff is being placed, but you're also potentially placing your opponent's stuff to mess them up. We had a great time with it. I was not expecting it to like it as much as I did the original, but it's a neat little, very compact way to bring Boop with you. You do need a pretty decent playing space. It is bigger than the original box when it's laid out, but it doesn't take that much space in a bag. Some trade-offs, but ones that are well worth it in my opinion. And I feel about even with how I feel about Boop and Boop Shuffle. I like them both, and somebody else in the car doesn't like it at all, but she's wrong.
Just not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate that people really enjoy it, and I wish I liked it because it was really cute.
Yeah, we did talk about that, and it's just not your thing.
Yep. Flamecraft Duels was the other one.
Yeah, so Flamecraft Duels is, I saw this one for $40, and I was talking about getting the regular box, and thought about it, and decided, hey, if I ever see the deluxe box, maybe I'll just pick that version up as well, because it's got a gorgeous locking box where all the components basically store inside of this latch box, and then the board folds down over the components. The components are thick resin tiles that you get to draw out of the bag. And in Flamecraft Duels, you have these order cards that you're trying to fulfill, make these different patterns. When you put down a tile, you get to execute its ability by firing up the dragon that you just placed. And those abilities help you move different tiles around the board to help you score these different order cards. So relatively straightforward and simple. The patterns are very easy to figure out, and the core gameplay loop of it is great, but there's a lot of thinkiness to it and trying to figure out exactly where you're going to place your tiles to optimize the amount of cards that you can complete on your turn. So I like this one a lot. This I will definitely return to with Allie. I'm excited for her to play it. And I would like to explore some of the other things that came in the box that would expand on the concept a little bit.
That's it for the 2-player games you and Bree played. Then we played Shards of Creation and Soothsayers, which you've talked about before, but...
Yeah, just nice to get Shards out again. I said that I was going to bring it with me and wanted to expose some other people to it, and glad that I was able to do that. And Soothsayers, the exact same. Always a pleasure to play that game, and got to see her at his booth and catch up with him a little bit. Remarkable game, really cool game. One of the better ones I played this year for sure. Probably gonna wind up in my top 10 of the year.
That was it for that day. Then we move on to Saturday. Once again found ourselves in the hall. Completed our scavenger hunts.
Yeah, it was nice to go to some smaller businesses and show some love. I wound up finding some things I couldn't live without, which was the whole point of the scavenger hunt, to try to spotlight some of them.
We did do something that I didn't write down. We stopped at Last Night Games. What was the name of that game?
The bee game?
Yeah, the bees.
I can't remember what the name of the bee game was.
We picked up a bee game.
We needed to pick up a bee game, and since we're dropping it off when we go to pick up Charlie, we can say what it is on the podcast, because basically Jamie Dagger's parents are watching our dog right now, and it's very nice of them.
That's Charlie's Nana.
Charlie's Nana Jude, who he loves and adores very much, is watching them.
Then we went and died in line at Subway.
Okay. So we had an hour before we had to go to the Asmodee event. And I know that things get busy and that at booths, and you just want to get sandwiches for your booth people. But could we maybe not order 20 sandwiches in line? And a lot of you will think that I'm being hyperbolic and saying 20 sandwiches in line. No. This girl literally ordered 20 sandwiches in line in front of us. So we were sitting there waiting, and we looked at the Subway line. We're like, we can do this. We can eat real quick. We can go to the Asmodee event. We won't be late. But then this girl's just holding a box for these sandwiches and ordering them one at a time. And they're going and fulfilling them one at a time, and they've got a couple of people that are working on them, and one of them could have been taking our sandwiches, but finally they did start our stuff. We were about 10 minutes late to the Asmodee event, but I was cranky because I didn't have food, and I was cranky because I was going to be late to an event, and that is something that I try to avoid if at all possible. So the BMT was fine, but it's a Subway BMT, and I had to wait an extraordinarily long time for it and be angry. Don't order 20 sandwiches in line in front of somebody.
Online ordering was available.
Yes, it was. Where you could have just picked it up, and it would have been easier. And there were also allergies involved, which I hope that person is still doing okay after they got their food.
Then we went to Asmodee.
Yeah. So it was nice once we got there. It was good to see Jason and the Asmodee crew. We got to play a few games. The first one was the K-pop Demon Hunters Battle for the Spotlight.
Yes.
Which was a take on Love Letter. And that was a team-based version of Love Letter, which was a little bit different. And that was designed by Waleed.
Yes. And that had like a tug-of-war between Huntrix and the Saja Boys.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I did like the mechanics a lot. I wish they had done something a little bit different with the art. I know with licensed games, it's a little bit, like, limited sometimes. I would have liked something that was maybe, because you were playing from the perspective of fans, like you could have had, like, fan drawings of the characters. I think that would have been cool. but the core gameplay behind the game itself was really well done. So I really enjoyed that.
Then we played Concept Stories.
Yeah, I had never played the original Concept, but essentially you're using a pushpin, cubes, and the pushpin corresponds to different colors of cubes. And there are a bunch of things on a board. So there's like a ruler that you can use to take one of your cubes, and you're saying that the pushpin is a certain type of thing. You go and identify what that thing is, and then you can use some of the things on the board to describe it. So you can't give verbal clues other than yes or no, but you can take a cube and use a ruler to go and try to show that something is big or small. There was I don't want to spoil it, but basically you could refer to certain body parts, so like your foot or your ankle, that you could actually refer to by getting creative about where you place these cubes and kind of emphasize things as well. Yeah. So we played that, and then I think we played Melodies.
Yes.
Was it?
Melodies was really cool.
Yeah, it was a really neat take on card shedding. Like in many card shedding games, you could take your cards from anywhere, and then that way you could connect more cards. But the cards that you played down, you were collectively looking at, if you made sets and runs, what the most frequent occurring number was, and that was the number that won the round. And you were trying to basically perform music, which you may want to ascend in order from round to round in what gets played. You may want to descend. You may want to descend and then ascend at the end of the round. There were a lot of different combinations. The box design for this was immaculate. This was very well done from a graphical design perspective, as well as a usability perspective, because they included these little like posters that you were able to kind of collect and use from round to round. And then you could display those posters, which had different rules on them.
And I believe all 3 of those are coming out in October, which is probably Essen, we determined.
Yeah.
All Essen releases.
And in addition to that, there's more Take Time coming.
Yes, Take Time expansion.
And there's a Harmonies expansion as well, which has a lot of standalone expansion content that's going to be coming out for that. So for any Harmonies or Take Time fans that are out there, you will be having more that is coming your way.
There was also a game with a German name that sounded cool. It was a trick taker. Schadenfreude, where you want to come in second place.
Yep.
Which seems difficult.
Yeah, reprint of something older with a fresh coat of paint. So I think this is going to be a good time as any to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back. So we are back on the way. We had to stop at Dunkin' Donuts for a little bio break.
I had to pee.
Allie had to pee. I got a cherry lime Ricky, which I think is just cherry lime and sugar. I don't know what Ricky is in the cherry lime Ricky, but he's good. Tastes great. So yeah. I think at that point we got done. We picked up our little goodie bag from Asmodee, and one of the games I'm kind of most excited for out of that bag was First Giants, which is about, I think you're a museum curator and you're exhibiting dinosaurs. I've heard some good things about that. I'm looking forward to checking that out, and I did get a couple of promos for that. There was an Origins exclusive promo, I was told, and I went to go get that before my meeting with Eagle Griffin Games. So it was really cool getting to catch up with Travis at Eagle Griffin, who was formerly with Queen Games, and starting to work with Eagle Griffin now. And I've known Travis basically since 2016. Not super close or anything, but he did come to the Malted Meeple and did an event where we played Escape, and I actually won a copy of Escape, and then basically hadn't seen much of each other until now. So it's nice to be able to get to see him again. And yeah, Eagle Griffin does have some neat stuff coming up. I think the one that I looked at that I'm most interested in is the House of Otto, which is a lightened version of the Gallerist, which is a great Lacerda game. In addition, we talked about some of the lighter versions of some of those heavier games and being more easily able to get those games to the table. And I think that's always a good thing when you can get some of the core mechanics out of a game and be able to bring them to more people. That's always a great thing to get more people maybe into some heavier stuff, which is fantastic.
Then you went and played Elementary, which I've seen ads for on Instagram, and I don't think I had told you about it, but I was really interested in it, and you went and played it.
Yeah, so funny enough, Allie might not enjoy the mechanics of Elementary, because I will say that I am very enthralled with this game. We didn't get to quite play a full game of it, but we got to play, I would say, 90% of a full game. This was a very fun take on Liar's Dice, because basically you could only go up to a certain limit if you increased your bid. Every time you increased your bid, you had the opportunity to put a different student or friend into your hand, and you were betting these different snacks that were being rolled. So you had your dice, you had different dice faces like chips and candy and fruit and things like that. And the candy was wild, but you could bet a certain amount of items were on the dice between you and what was in the central dice tower. But you could only go up to a certain increment. Once you hit that top increment, you could use one of those dice to activate one of the friends that you had been able to previously play in your tableau to give you something. But then that die was available for everybody to see, so there was a little bit less hidden information out there, which was pretty neat. So it took Liar's Dice, which I'm already a fan of, and added a little bit extra to it. I think what I was most enthralled about with the game was the graphic and art design on it. The player, I would say like the player boards, which folded up, when you laid them out, they all had their own little personality to them. But if you folded them back up and were going to put them away, it had a huge personality because each of the characters was wildly different, and they were all like cute children versions of monsters, which just made things so incredibly adorable. So you had the goth girl who was drawing the vampires and werewolves. You had the one girl that was drawing like the My Little Ponies and the Lisa Frank style stuff. It was really neat and very cute. And again, from a gameplay perspective, I really love that. I did get to play that with Charlotte and Patrick. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish the game because we did need to go out to dinner with our friends the Veshis. But a big thanks to Charlotte and Patrick for including me in the gameplay. It was fantastic.
Because I think that is a upcoming Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think I had notify at launch.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna back it anyways if I don't wind up with a review copy of it.
Yeah. It's not that I'm just bad at Liar's Dice, and
I am too. I found out.
And I don't like to be bad at things.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I do the art, so that goes a long way.
It's not as punishing as Liar's Dice is. You might lose a couple of your dice to be able to use for resources when everything resolves, but I feel like it's less punishing than what a real straight game of Liar's Dice is, which I think helps. And I would say you might like this better for that reason, because it's not going to be as feel bad as Liar's Dice can be.
Yeah, I definitely would give it a try. I did come find you at this point, and we went to Mikey's.
Yeah.
For pizza.
Oh, real quick before that, Origins has a consignment shop.
Oh, I forgot you did that. I was
Yep.
sleeping when
Yep.
you did that.
So Origins does have a consignment shop. So basically people will take their older games to be sold, and you can go and take a look. I believe they are priced by the individuals who are selling them themselves. So the prices and the deals vary depending on what you're looking at. But yeah, I was able to pick up a copy of Challengers down there, and I spent a little while looking at games that some of them I had given up because I had played and didn't kind of rock with. But yeah, so just for those that are heading out to Origins in the future, if they're continuing to do it, it is a little bit hidden back, but look at the consignment shop if you want some deals.
Have they always had that?
So I guess they used to have that. I didn't know about it until very recently.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And apparently they had stopped it for a number of years.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to go get pizza with the Veshies.
Yeah. Mikey's is always good.
Yep.
No complaints. It was very loud in there. It's just how Mikey's is, so we went back to our hotel room.
Yep. And the garlic sauce is a number one.
Garlic sauce on pizza is just good.
Yeah, garlic on anything is pretty much good. You put enough garlic butter on something, it's going to be very tasty.
Yep. They brought a game that I had also had my eye on that was Faekin.
Fae space Kin.
Is it all one word? No, there's a space.
I thought there was
I
a
don't
space.
know. I don't know. But I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was fun. There was a little bit of it's a deduction card game.
Yeah, you're trying to find the heir to the summer and winter courts. Absolutely beautiful artwork. We did end up picking that one up. Then we played Blorp.
Now it's time to Blorp, baby.
All's fair in love and Blorp.
In love and Blorp. So this was part 3 of the box that Smirk and Dagger had sent over. And I had looked at it, and I was very confused at what I was looking at. I just said, okay, this is something. And then we got to start playing this game. And I guess the best way that I can objectively describe what Blorp is, it's kind of like Carcassonne with tile placement, where you have to make sure that the edges connect properly, and you're building out structures. But in this case, these structures are blorps, and there's 3 different flavors or colors. There's red, yellow, and green.
I'm gonna have to talk to Steve and Sarah and Emma. You just referred to them as flavors.
Yeah, flavors.
So now I need to know what flavors those nasty little guys are.
Cherry, lemon, and foot.
Is foot the green one?
Foot's the green one.
That I believe. The orange one,
which I think was red. It said red on the score sheet.
No, there was it was like
or are you
yellow.
Talking about yellow?
Yeah, there was yellow.
Okay.
So it was like orangey yellow, or orangey red, the yellow one and the green one. The yellow one's like pine sol.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What would you consider the red one then?
Fireball.
Fireball?
Yeah.
Like the drink Fireball, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the candy. It's like the same thing.
I was gonna say ketchup.
Oh no, that's better. Yeah, it's ketchup.
Yeah.
That's ketchup.
That's ketchup flavor.
Yeah. The art, we all enjoyed the art because it was weird. There was like tongues and trumpets and things.
It was very squishy.
Yeah.
Art.
Yeah.
It's very goofy, and I would consider it a I feel like it's a lighter version of what a standard Carcassonne is, because at the end you want to connect a bunch of like colored tiles together, and the bigger that you can make them, usually the better. And you're going to get bonus points for having the most completed blorps or the biggest blorps of a certain type amongst your opponents. We were laughing the entire time because of these things that we were looking at the tiles and we were constructing and seeing. I don't know how much staying power it's going to have. We'll see. There is a different mode than what we were doing, where what we were doing was the standard look at the 4 available tiles, and then you would be able to place them at your leisure, which was usually once every 30 seconds after we got done giggling, about the new one that came out.
Yeah. Then we found a soundtrack.
Yep.
To Blorp.
It's a very Blorpy soundtrack, and we would basically substitute. If you look at the punch sheets for all of these components and all of these tiles, they all had something that was Blorp related on them, like a Blorp phrase. So we were substituting all these verbs with Blorp and just having a great time with it. So it was a lot of fun. Like, I would definitely play this one again. If you're a fan of tile placement, it's a good one. It's going to be in the same vein as a Carcassonne or a game like that, but yeah, definitely had some good times doing some big blorping in the hotel room last night.
I won, by the way.
Yeah, you did win. You blorped the best.
It blorped the best. Next we played That's So Dope. So we played That's So Dope. Arwen, for some reason, mixed all the After Dark cards in with the standard version, so we had to fish those out because Emma, who we were playing with, is only 13, and while some of them weren't really that bad, just not the conversations we wanted to have with a 13-year-old.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Although she thinks that she knows everything, as teenagers tend to do. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes they do.
Yep. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. It's a fun party game. I was very good at it, apparently.
Yeah, Arwen was very good. And then that's when we parted ways with the Veshy family. And then we played Vanity Plates with Mur.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, that's a new game that I had picked up this weekend, and the best way that I can describe that is if you think of a license plate that has a bunch of letters and numbers on it, you are trying to describe a certain profession or type of person using letters and numbers, but no vowels. And you only get 8, and you can't use the actual name. So if I had the Joker, I think was the good one that we had, from last night. There was something like you could put H4 for Ha. But the rub of the game was the fact that you had requirements. If your opponents guessed what you were, they got the profession card, which was a point for them. But for you to score off of what you wrote, you had to meet certain requirements. So there were 2 letters and a number, at least for most of them that I saw. 2 letters and a number that you had to use in there. And that's where things got tricky, because the words that you were using kind of had to incorporate that, some easier than others. And you went around for 3 rounds. If you guessed a card, you got to take it. If you met the requirements card for yours, you got to take the requirements card as the person who designed the plate. And then whoever had the most cards after 3 rounds of that won. And of course, you've got extra cards in the center as flavor to make things a little bit trickier for the people who are guessing. So it was a lot of fun, fun little party game. I will definitely be playing that again. It's going to, if you're coming up, I may take that out to Omaha with me. I don't know, because I think it plays up to 8 players.
Nice.
So,
I think I won that one too.
I think you did.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We did call it a night after that.
Yeah.
We had begun to pack a little bit just to get a head start on the morning, but we went to breakfast this morning because we hadn't done that. We had been very frugal and eating in our little kitchen with our bagels and our bread.
Yep. Breakfast buffet.
Yes, we did the breakfast buffet in the hotel.
Good. Had a nice made-to-order omelet.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah, and then we went up to the room. Arwen was showing Mur some of the classic YouTube videos that she's constantly talking about.
Lemon stealing.
Lemon stealing, yes.
Yep.
If I took a nap, and because I had a headache, still have a headache, then we got our crap together, loaded the car, went to the hall.
Went to the hall, picked up our Charlie Keeper card for Dog
that's
Flux.
right.
So cute.
Look at Arwen's Instagram and Blue Sky posts. He's such a good little man.
They had an artist that came in, Allison, I believe was her name, and she drew the most adorable pictures of dogs.
I think there were some cats.
There were some cats, yeah. And that was part of Looney Labs' 30th anniversary of Flux. And they actually hadn't been at Origins in 15 years. And this was the year that they decided as a celebration to come back. I'm hoping that we get to see them again, because they had a room that you could go into and play a whole bunch of demo games, hang out, and then you would get prizes if you played enough of them. And I thought that was such a neat little concept because you could demo everything, and it really harkened back to the days of Rio Grande having a large room there, minus the snacks. But it was fun being able to do the room that they had there and get to see, I think it was called Tower, that was part of the Pyramid Arcade collection that they have.
Treehouse?
Treehouse.
It's a large version of Treehouse.
Yep.
You picked up 7 islands.
And Mystery Flux.
Yep, and then some extra cards.
Yep.
For some future shenanigans.
Yep. Promos and blanks.
Yep.
Yeah, so happy anniversary to Kristen and Andy at Looney Labs. Great show, and if you come back to Origins, I'll definitely be hanging out in that room a little bit more.
For sure. Then we went to the hall, where we went and bought Fakin.
Yep.
And the person who did the art was there.
Yes.
Which makes me think they might also be the designer. I'm not 100% sure.
I think they were both.
I fell in love with one of the cards. It was the sword that I got stabbed with when I lost the game. But I really desperately now want it as a tattoo. So I talked to them, and we're going to get something commissioned for a tattoo. Stay tuned. But if you get the game, look at the sword dagger card. It's stunning. Let's see.
Yeah, gorgeous artwork on that.
What else did we do in the hall? We kind of roamed around because we were saying bye to people.
Yeah, we said our goodbyes to a lot of folks, and
you definitely had to stop by Smirk and Dagger to have Kurt explain what the hell.
Yeah, so Kurt kind of gave us the rundown
how
of
Blorp came to be.
How Blorp came to be, and it was literally him walking by a table at a convention and
like an unpub.
Yeah, I think it was. He did say it was an unpub. And walking by this prototype and looking at it, and the guy basically said, "Would you like to play Blorp?" And Kurt, as Kurt does, basically said, "Yeah," and fell in love. He thought the game was charming. I really do. It's grown on me. Looking back at it, I thought about it more today, and I was like, "Yeah, this was a fun little game." He also...
There was another game that caught my eye that was not the other game that Arwen went to see.
Yeah. Trickerous. Yeah. And Kurt wound up giving us a copy of that to take a look at. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we've got Easy Cat, Jason, to thank for that.
Yeah.
That was...
There were like 500 copies.
Yeah, I believe in Japan, just created by the designer, and apparently it had a lot of buzz in the EU and US, and it needed picked up. Jason showed it to Kurt, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and that's a game that basically you want to get tricks, but you don't want to get so many that you essentially fly too close to the sun, and you wind up falling back down to the earth and have to climb your way back up again and lose progress. And some neat things to happen with that. You could, if you have a very strong hand, race all the way back up to the top, fall down, and then leave yourself enough time that you're able to catch back up again, so that you're not stuck at the end of the game trying to play a lot of avoidance. And I thought that was a really cool concept looking at it. In addition, there's a mechanic with the chip that's in the middle, and that can actually switch, and when that chip switches
From day to night or night to day.
Yep, from day to night or night to day. All of the cards are dual-sided, so you don't flip them over. You rotate them 180 degrees, and it's Scout, essentially. And those values come up, and they all add up to 10, I believe. So,
Yep.
So that's also the Trump suit, in addition. So it sounds like a very crazy game, and I can't wait to table that one.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that one. Then we continued our goodbyes and made our way over to Arcane Wonders. We were trying to demo Ross the entire weekend.
That was one of the things I really wanted to do this weekend, was play that game and get a feel for it.
They didn't have it out the entire weekend. We had to make timing work for when they had it available. Finally worked out.
And thanks to Bree for coordinating time for us to take a look at that. What a magnificent game that is.
It's beautiful.
So much. It's fantastically beautiful. Like, the table presence on it is gorgeous.
It's very thoughtful and clever.
Incredibly well designed. There is a central board in which everything moves together in unison with each other through a series of gears, and the core gameplay of it, once you kind of get the idea of what's going on, is pretty simple. Like, you have these tracks, and if you go to score, you're basically going to multiply the value of the track times the number of times that you're able to achieve that, and it happens 3 times during the game, and it's pretty much it. And once you really get the feel and the hang for what the game is asking you to do, it's incredibly straightforward and easy, and turns do go very quick. I can't wait for that to come in. I feel like that's going to be a game that may get to the table quite often and be a contender for Game of the Year.
Yeah. They did say that it's going to be up on GameFound just a little bit longer. They didn't say exactly when that was going to be gone, but if that is something you're interested in, that is where you would find it before it goes to retail.
Yep. And Bree did give me a copy of Ley Lines, which I'm very excited for, because that's a Daryl Andrews co-design.
Yeah.
Which I think it was him and maybe Wolfgang Warsch, which is really cool. And really looking forward to that. I know that Daryl was very excited about that game, and I've wanted to take a look at that. And then Bree made us spend more money, so
Bree took us to another booth where they were selling art, and there was a Ponyo Loves Ham.
Yes.
God.
And I got an All Your Base Art Belong to Us, which I may gift to a friend.
Yes.
As part of a birthday present, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I may keep it for myself at this point.
Yeah.
It was my college days. Grew up on that. Yeah, that was really nice. Very good, talented artist.
We chatted with Chris Porter.
Yeah, so we went back to Chris Couch Games and chatted a little bit more, and had some other people saying goodbye. So we got to say goodbye to other people too. You know, a couple of content creators, Chance and How I Roll, and that. Great to have that opportunity to just kind of chill and hang out and get to see some people before we left.
How I roll is now the person we keep running into.
Yeah.
That's our new Nelson.
That's our new Nelson.
Sorry, Nelson. Better show up.
Hey, Nelson, we need you back.
Then you went to, forgive me, I don't know his name, the Ashy Feet.
Yep, Mo. Yep. So Mo and I had talked earlier about a game that I was going to pick up from him and do a review on. And then he actually found somebody to give him money for said game. So I'm like, yep, sweet. That's get your bag. So I'm going to see Mo in a couple of weeks at the Omaha Gaming Convention, which hopefully I will be seeing you at as well. You can
get your
go
tickets.
And get your tickets now. I will be there. I will be playing games all weekend with y'all. So if you want an opportunity to actually sit down and play games, that's the time, because I'm literally there to play games with y'all.
Yeah, and it's supporting good people, a new convention.
Yep.
I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's a lot happening convention-wise out that way, so.
Yeah, you have some conventions that are out there, but I think the distinction with OGC is that you're guaranteed to have an inclusive experience.
Yes.
And it's really curated to try to make sure that everybody has a great experience, feels included and welcome, and has a good time. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I will see Mo of Ashy Feet games there, and hopefully, again, I will see you out there as well.
Well, then we just prepared to go home. We said our goodbyes to Myrrh.
Yep.
Headed out.
Got the car packed up, headed out, stopped at Tabletop Game Cafe
Ooh.
to get my copy, finally, of Defy the Gods, which I picked local pickup, not realizing that I was in Cleveland and Chris is in Columbus. So
Yeah.
I did get that. I am very much looking forward to checking that out. It looks awesome, and I was very glad to see that she sold out of her inventory of the deluxe edition, which is gorgeous
Yeah.
to look at.
I saw it, and Arwen wasn't there with me, and I was definitely hoping that she had ordered the deluxe edition, because it looks great. If you're not familiar, Defy the Gods, Ancient Mesopotamia, beautiful story. Oh, can't
Yeah.
even.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to get Arwen to play some, geez.
Yeah. Yep. The other place that we went on our way out was Goose Poop Games, and
Oh.
and we picked up some stuff for your pop-up.
Yes, yeah. Goose Poop has. I first heard about them because I have the Good Soup, but they have some other stuff. I think some games that Arwen is interested in, reeling her back into the land of the RPGs again. I know
Yeah.
it's been a long time for you.
Yeah. Something that I really wanted to check out was essentially a RPG where you were interviewing interdimensional beings
For a podcast.
for a podcast. And I thought that would be a really cool way of maybe doing a little bit of bonus content. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to read up and see what the game's all about. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on that. If that's of interest to you, definitely let me know, and that might encourage me to do some content on that. But so yeah, that pretty much takes us up to where we are right now.
Yeah.
I think overall the convention was great. I think the one thing that I learned was I need to take time and sit and play more games, and I would encourage. The pressure is so high to just roam the show floor all day and demo stuff on the floor. I would encourage you, especially if you have a lot of friends at conventions, set aside some time and take a day to just play stuff. Especially being in the content creation scene, there's so much pressure to just go and go and go, but you forget the reason that you're at a convention. And if you take time for yourself and you play things and you get to hang out with the people that you meet and care about at those conventions and are going to be there, I think that's what makes it really special. Like that time with Bree, for me, where we just sat and chatted and had some games between us and caught up, because other conversations happen at the same time, obviously, where you'll chat about life and the universe itself. Really fulfilling, and it was one of the first conventions where I didn't feel the pressing need to get back home immediately and, oh my god, I need to sit and rest. I felt like I could go another day. Now, when I get to work tomorrow, I may feel like I need a rest, but at least for right now, it's very fulfilling from a personal standpoint. And yeah, very glad that I took the time. It was a fantastic decision to sit and take Saturday or Friday rather, and just sit and play some games. Take those opportunities when you can. From an overall convention standpoint, I feel like there were some missteps. From an organizational standpoint, the security was fine. I really didn't have a problem with that. I thought that it was well handled. I never really saw a big hiccup in people getting in. There were some ADA issues from an accessibility standpoint, but from a pure security standpoint, things flowed pretty well from what I saw. There were multiple ADA concerns. That was an issue. I hope that those are going to be addressed. I won't get too deep into them on this podcast, but I know some conversations are going to be held because there were some things that happened from that perspective, and that's unfortunate. I will also say that the layout of the convention was not ideal whatsoever. The thing that we really heard was more or less that they wanted to encourage exploration, which is fine, but when it came to the layout of trying to find booths very quickly and make your way down an aisle and find things efficiently using the map, it was difficult at best. There were a lot of blocked paths, there were a lot of corners which you had to go around things, which got to be very frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like there was still some booths we missed, even though we went to the hall every day in that middle dead zone.
Yep. I didn't know where Chris's booth was the entire time, and I was around that area and just never got to it. And I'm wondering if traffic might have suffered for some of those booths, especially just because people didn't know that they were there and that they were trapped in those dead zones. So yeah, that was something. I think the fact that the vendors had no ability to pick their spots, while it might have put maybe some spotlight on some of the smaller things, a lot of the front booths were just dice vendors. You had some smaller creators and independent publishers that were up there. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more thought put into the curation of that. It's not something that I'm opposed to, but I know that some of the publishers were very mad about their placement, not having control over it, and still paying a premium for their booth.
For those of you that don't know the typical processes, there's meetings for the different booth sizes, and depending on when you've signed up is how you choose your booth. There's a big map, and different companies have different strategies on their booth placement, and they get to choose based on that. And that is not what happened this time.
At all. Yep. And again, I don't mind places trying something new, but you have to communicate that with people going forward, and I feel like there would have been many people at that point that would have said that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was unfortunate. Again, that kind of feeling that, hey, we might have missed something, but we might not have seen something. There may have been something really cool that we didn't get to see, and that's unfortunate because I hate that feeling. Yeah, so that was from the gripe section, I think mostly it. But from an overall perspective, there is an opportunity maybe for Origins to be a place where maybe some smaller publishers could come in and either expand their offerings or have the ability to have a first-time booth. I think the thing that you have to balance is getting people to come through the door to support them as well. I love the vibe of Origins. It is my hometown convention. In my perspective, being 2 hours away, I want to see it do well. I don't want to see it linger behind, but there were some notable absences, and I think after this year with how they did things, there may be some more coming up. So that said, if you want a space to play games with cool people, as long as those cool people are going to be there, it's a great opportunity. And like I said, I played a ton of games. I think it was like 23 total over the course of the weekend, not including those demos that we talked about. Really kind of grateful that we took the time to do that while we were down there. Playing games in a different environment is always really cool. Allie, any final thoughts from you?
No, I feel like I kind of share a lot of the same sentiments as you, but I had a great time. I love meeting new people and talking to people, and we did a lot of that.
Yeah, it was a very fun time. Yeah, don't mistake complaints and opportunities for improvement as us having a bad time, because it definitely wasn't. I'm incredibly glad that I went and had an awesome time. Just some things that Gamma as an organization in that department from that perspective has to kind of keep in mind and work on for next year.
Absolutely. We are 7 minutes away from Nana Jude's to get our little Charles.
Get our small precious boy. I'm very excited to see him and give him all the hugs.
We have to show him his card.
Scritches. Oh, he needs to see his card. We actually have our copy of Dog Flux right in front, so he can see his card.
Yes.
He can sniff it. Yeah.
Until the next one.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about Cardboard Time, you can go to cardboardtime.com. If you want to check out the Instagram, it's at CardTime. The blue sky is at Cardboard Time. If you want to join an awesome community, you can go to the website or email me at cardboardtime@gmail.com for an invite to the Discord server for Tabletop Express, a lovely community over there. I gotta catch up on what's going on over there now that I've been at Origins and give everybody the scoop of what I saw this weekend as well. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or ideas for discussion topics, you can always email me at that address, cardboardtime@gmail.com. For the LGBTQ community, it's a very tough time out there, but stay strong. The world's better with you in it. And as always, we'll see you around the table in 2 weeks for another episode of Cardboard Time.